welcome back to Cap at Home. I'm Miss Van. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these Scratch Art Mandalas out of old CDs. So what you're going to need is a palette of some kind. This is just a Styrofoam egg carton, and I'm going to use this egg carton to mix my colors of acrylic paint with some dish soap. So you're going to need some dish soap too. And then for the paint, because the back of the CD is so shiny and bright, I think it works best to show contrast if you use darker colors. So I've got some violet. So I'm going to add some violet. I've got cobalt blue. And this is like the lightest color that I'm going to use for this project. I've got black. And I've got green. Grass green. So you just put a little bit of paint into the sections of your egg carton, and then you're going to add some dish soap. The dish soap kind of helps the paint from sticking to your surface, and it makes it easier to scratch off. So this is the one I'm working on right now. I'm making these lines, and then you're going to need a scratching tool. So I have a couple of screwdrivers, Phillips and flathead, and then I have a screw and a nail. So far I think I like the tiny little, it's like for watches or something, the small flathead screwdriver best. It's kind of long, so it feels natural to hold it, and the broader surface makes it easier to get straight, like thicker lines. And then this one, because the point is thinner, you can see how thin that point is. It gives you thinner lines, and then these are great for thinner lines as well. I just prefer to have something that fits more comfortably in my hand. So we're going to draw some mandalas, and then examples of mandalas I have that I've drawn in the past are some of these. They're sort of geometric shapes with like repeating patterns. So you can see that something that is sort of round naturally, mandalas can be round, so I think it just makes perfect sense to use a round CD. And then of course you have this like really cool shiny surface to kind of work with. And then this is another mandala. So they kind of represent things in nature, but just, you know, geometric patterns that repeat. And to me, and you know, this is kind of personal, but I think it's just really calming and relaxing to kind of focus on something like that and just kind of make a simple repeating pattern. You don't have to think too much about it, but it kind of looks cool. It's kind of fun to do. So I'm going to mix my paint in with the soap dish, or with the dish soap. Soap dish soap. So I have a paintbrush. You're going to need a paintbrush, and then some water to rinse off your paintbrush. Since I am kind of happy to blend my colors for this project, I'm not going to worry too much about contaminating my colors, but if you want to have really specific color lines, you can have a piece of paper towel on hand to just kind of like blot your paintbrush to make sure that all of the paint is out between colors. So I'm going to use my paintbrush to mix my dish soap and paint solution. And I'm going to go from like lightest to darkest here. So I'm going to start with the blue and just kind of mix the blue. And then I'm going to mix the green. And then I'm going to mix the purple. And you just want to mix the dish soap into the paint. And I'm going to mix the black just to make it like I said, the dish soap makes it just a little bit easier for the paint to be scraped off later. So it does take a couple of hours for the paint to dry, so I'm going to paint this CD, and then I'm going to use one of the ones that I already painted because of the magic of planning ahead. So I just start kind of in the middle, and I do sort of smooth, quick brush strokes towards the edge here. And I'm going to change colors. I'm going to go to the purple. I really like purple. Miss Gabby back in April did a video on mandalas. So if you need some examples of mandalas and like how to draw them, you can go back to our videos from April and rewatch one of Miss Gabby's really cool presentations. I believe she also used her mandalas to represent color wheels, which I know I've talked a little bit about in some of my videos. Alright, so I've got pretty even coverage. So I'm just going to let this sit. It's pretty thick. It should be dry though in a little while, like about an hour or 2 hours to be fully dry. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. I'm going to rinse off my brush because I'm not going to use it again for this part of the project. So cold water works best to rinse off your brush, generally because there is glue kind of holding the bristles in place, and the cold water is just gentler on the glue, and so that gets the longest lifespan from your brushes. And if you have a brush you really, really like, you want to kind of keep it for as long as you can. So that's it for my paintbrush. I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to choose one of these CDs. So these are old CDs. They've already been converted to digital, or some of them are just like really badly scratched or damaged in some way. So I don't feel too bad about repurposing them for a new project, and it's super fun. So I'm going to take my screwdriver, and I think I'm going to start copying this mandala. So this is kind of intricate. I think I'm going to do something a little bit simpler for this project, but just so you can see what I am doing here, I'm going to just start making some shapes. And if you can see that, like I'm getting some little paint crumblies on my work surface and on my project. So I've got a garbage can over here. I'm just periodically going to use this piece of paper towel and kind of wipe the crumblies into the garbage just to keep my surface a little bit easier to work with. And I'm just going to keep repeating these sort of rounded arching lines. And I want kind of like a thick line, and you can see, ooh, there's shiny surface underneath. Look how pretty. Also, I am outside today. It's starting to cool off a little bit today, but I'm still going to make sure that I have plenty of cool water to drink while I'm working outside. So my friend Miss Rachel found some CDs to work on, so I'm glad I was inspiring. And Miss Rachel, I really liked your rock pendant weaving macrame project that I just watched part of it. It was really cool. So I'm just going to keep repeating this pattern. And then I'm going to go in the other direction. So facing me, this is going kind of clockwise. Now I'm going to go counterclockwise. And I'm just going to cross all of my lines. Woo. So this is just kind of the type of repeating pattern that mandalas can be made out of. So I really hope you enjoy this project. If you happen to do it yourself, please share in the comment section of this video, or if you do any of the other Cap at Home projects, we would love to know that you enjoy our projects. So please share anything that you might do yourself in the comment section. And I'm going to work on a different one. So this one, I'm just going to add some detail to. I'm thinking about the veins and leaves, or maybe some flower petals. And yeah, it's just fun to find new and different ways to reuse materials. Like I remember making mixtapes when I was a kid, and then I started making mix CDs when I was a kid, a little bit older, like a teenager. So it's nice to kind of do something with those mediums that, you know, once you find new applications, just it's nice to reuse materials, I think. So it's just a really calming, meditative process. Just repeating shapes for a little while. And while you work, maybe you can let your mind wander. You can listen to the birds. I've got lots of birds in my neighborhood. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're just kind of nice to hear. So the colors I've chosen to use green, blue, and purple. These are analogous colors on the color wheel, which means they're all next to each other. So it's just a little bit of color theory while I'm working. And you just have a little bit of contrast in this project. With light tonal values and dark tonal values. And it's just fun to see something. So, and also another contrast is the difference between shiny and matte. So the acrylic paint, when it dries, is matte, which means it's not very reflective. But the shiny CD back is reflective. So that's a difference between like a gloss and a matte. So those are other contrasts. And we've got some texture in here. And these are all sort of art elements, design elements that you can use to make a piece of artwork. Alright, well, that is pretty much all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed my CD scratch art. It was certainly fun to do this project. It's pretty simple, and maybe I have an installation piece kind of in the works here with all of these cool little tiny canvases. I like that they're double-sided, so if you hang them up, you know, you have art on both sides. And there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed Cap at Home. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.